This is me. And I'm a Roblox developer.
A few inches later.
So in this video, I'll be going over the basics to Roblox Studio. What's up guys, and welcome to the Roblox Studio basics tutorial. So, if you want to be a programmer, builder, animator, scripter, whatever, or you just like want to make games for fun, this is for Roblox. It's called ROBLOX Studio, and it's how you make Roblox games. So first of all, when you spawn in a base plate, you'll have this like thingy right here. This is a spawn location, and right up here in this home tab, you will see select, which you can hold down the click button and drag things around like this. You can click move to move an object or model or whatever, and then you can scale it like this, and you can also rotate right here. And transform, you're not really gonna use. It's kind of something that very experienced programmers use. Anywho, an easy way to select through these without clicking the buttons is by clicking 1 for select, 2 for move, 3 for scale, 4 for rotate, and 5 for transform. By the way, if you want to go back on something you did, like let's say I went like this, and I don't want to do that, you hold down Control and you press Z, and it basically just goes back. Also, to delete a part, you hold down Control and press X, and to copy is Control C, to paste is Control V, and there we go. Right here we got the increments. So let's say you want to move this, instead of 1 stud, you want it to be like 10. So this is the move one up here with the little move icon. It's hard to see though. But now it moves by 10 studs. I can also do like 0.0001 for it to move very smoothly. But that's for like precise building. I usually keep it at 1 because it's pretty easy. Right here is the rotate. So let's say it's rotated like this, and you want it to rotate like barely any farther, but doing it 1 more is too much. You can change this one to 1, and you can rotate it easily like that. Now, right here is to insert a part. So if you click this, it'll insert a part into your game. But here's the thing. Let's say I test it right now. So you saw that the part was in the air, right? But it just fell. Well, how do I stop that? It's pretty simple. All you gotta do is click on the part and click this anchor button. What that does is it basically makes it stay where it is, and it can't be pushed around or anything, and it can't fall. The reason people use stuff that isn't anchored is for, like, let's say you have a door, right? And then you have like a lock on that door. By the way, Control D is to duplicate. So let's say I want to duplicate this. I just press Control and D, and it will duplicate it in that position. So let's say I have a lock on this door, right? And I use a key. Now to make that lock fall, I just unanchor it, and then it will fall down like that, which is pretty cool. By the way, you can press this drop down arrow if you want to insert like a sphere or a cylinder or something. But yeah, the terrain button is for terrain, and we got all this other stuff. Material is pretty good. You can choose a material for it. Same with color, but I would recommend over here you click the Explorer button. What this does is it shows all the stuff. So workspace is just this, everything that's in here. We got the base plate, the spawn location, and this part that I just inserted. Now I can insert another part, and it adds to the workspace like that. By the way, you can hold down click to select, and like drag your mouse. We also got the camera. Don't delete that, that's like the player's camera. We also got terrain, which is like for hills and stuff. Right here we got the players, that's for all of the players. But I'll have to explain more to you guys because characters is different than players. So that's like, we'll talk about that when scripting. Lighting is, you know, just lighting, like I can delete that sky and stuff. Material service is if you want like PBR textures, you just insert them into material service. And yeah. Replicated first is basically like, it's hard to explain, but replicated storage and replicated first are basically like, okay, so here, let me just like insert a part and put it into replicated storage. Now you see the part right there, but the second I put it into it, it's gone. So it's like invisible and I can't like interact with it at all. Basically, like let's say you want something to spawn in, you just move this to the workspace and it'll spawn in right there. Service scripts service is where you keep all of your scripts, mostly, because if it's in the workspace, hackers can very easily hack your game. That's why you want it in service script service. Service storage is kind of similar to replicated storage, a little bit different. Starter GUI is, let's say you want to have like a button that you press and it does something. That's where you keep it. Let's see, starter pack is basically the tools that the player gets when they join the game. So I'm gonna open up the toolbox right here, and let's say I want the toolbox is where you can search for models, plugins, audio, fonts, decals, mesh parts, videos, whatever you want. So let's say I want the sword. It usually prompts you with putting it in the starter pack. Let's say it's just in workspace, then the player doesn't spawn with it. Yet if it's in starter pack, the player does spawn with it. Starter player contains starter character scripts and starter player scripts, which uses local scripts. I'll tell you about that later. But it's basically like, I'll explain it later in this tutorial series. Teams, of course, is like teams, like you can insert teams and stuff if you want like a red versus blue team game or something. Sound service is usually where you put your sounds. Text chat service is just the text. Now, what I would do is to easily access all the stuff that you want, I would click this button, name it like essentials, like I have right here, and then you click add tools. What I would have would be the output, which basically shows you any errors in the scripts that you have. I would also have the properties, which, let me explain that real quick. Let's say you have a part and you want to make it invisible. You see this transparency right here? If I slide this scale all the way to this side, it makes it transparent. I can also change the color or the brick color, which is basically a color palette instead of this, even though this is a color palette. I don't know. Anywho, we got material right here, so I can make it like limestone or something. Material variant, that's if you have a PBR texture and it's in material service right there. And then we got reflectance, which basically it just makes it kind of reflective, but it's not really useful. Basically, yeah, it's hard to explain. I'll talk about that later. We also got the name, which we can also click right here. So you gotta click the part, then click it again, and name it high or something. We got the size if you want to adjust it from here. The C-frame is basically the orientation and my bad. And the position, you can also do origin for that. Can collide is if the player can touch it, or they just like walk through it. Can't touch is basically the same thing, but parts can't touch it. We got anchored right there, and a bunch of other stuff. Like, let's say you go to lighting, you can change the clock time, so you can make it like dark like that or something. Anywho, yep, we got the models tab. By the way, for geometry, let's say you have like, I'm gonna make a quick house. Say you have like a house right here. And for the last wall, what most people do, well, I have snap to parts. If you turn that off, and then you try to line it up, like let's say I have this, and I try to line it up with this wall. How about I just do this? You see, it doesn't line up, it just goes like past it, which is very annoying. But if you click snap to parts in geometry, if you move this, even though it's 10 studs, it'll snap to the parts. So if I go to here, it'll like snap to the part wherever you want it, which is very useful. We also got, trying to think of the main stuff, we got effects to where you can add like, let's say you want fire, you can add fire to it. You can also change the properties right here. Like let's say you want the size to be like that big, you can have it like that. That's mostly it. Right here we got the avatar, where you can insert like a rig. I usually do R6, and then you want to, I'd recommend using the block rig or block avatar. It's, in my opinion, the best one. Now you can click the animation editor right here, and if you click on that, then you can like animate him and then play the animation. Like, let's say you want him to go like that and then like go like that. You can do that, and then he'll go like that. By the way, if you select them and hover over easing style, you can change it to any of these. Like let's say you want cubic version 2. I usually use this one, it makes the animation smoother. Just watch this. You can also change the easing direction to in out, which I usually do as well. And if you watch, you'll see it's pretty smooth. Now if I just do linear, it's gonna not be smooth, it's just gonna be like blocky like that. Same with like elastic, it's gonna be like elastic, which is pretty cool. I also like constant. It's like a block animation, so it goes like that, like a classic Roblox animation. But yeah, to save animations, you click these 3 dots, publish to Roblox. You can name it if you want, I don't really do that. Then you click save, and what you want to do is you want to copy this ID right here by clicking that. That's how you like put it in animations. Like let's say I have an animation right here. Animation ID, you just paste what you just copied from that published animation, and boom, you can play it like that. But you're gonna have to have a script, of course, to play it. UI, it's pretty much the same as just clicking this plus icon and adding like a screen GUI. By the way, you can press the plus icon, you can search for like something. By the way, you can add anything in any of these. Like let's say I add like fire. It's not gonna do anything because it's like a GUI. But yeah, script, output is the only good thing for that. I already told you that. Plugins, these are all your plugins. Like let's say I have this really useful plugin called Part to Terrain. where if I click this and click that part and have grass selected, it goes like that, because Roblox terrain is very hard to use. And then I have my own tab right here that I made. You're gonna want to make sure you have experience settings for this, because if you save it, like let's say I name it hello, I was gonna name it hello, but let's see, scripting tutorials, that's fine. I don't care if I type differently. You can also have the devices you can play it on, like let's say I just want that. And then you click save and just give it a few minutes and boom, just let it load. I know this video is kind of long, guys, my bad for it, but I'm just trying to explain everything. And then so if you click on that, you can change the name to this. You can add a description. The maturity level, you just click fill out questionnaire and it'll bring you to a questionnaire. You can have the experience icon, which is basically the icon of the game when you're like scrolling through the game tab. And then this right here is when you clicked on the game, it'll show it next to the play button, like all the pictures or videos or stuff. You can also change the genre. Communication, you can enable microphone, face camera. You can create badges, private servers, developer products, all of this stuff. You can enable some of these for like saving stuff with the data stores. Yeah, so another really useful thing is avatar settings, which I usually click. So you click this 3 dots and you can set it to R6 only, which makes all the characters R6. And then device emulator, let's say you want to look what it looks like on a phone, you can click that and then click right here. Find in place, you can search up so anything in a script. If you search up like local, it'll say it in the script. That's just the normal, wait, what did I do? Hold up. Okay, I think I did something wrong. Oh, there we go. Okay. So I just realized that this button, if you click it, it goes onto the side like that, and if you click it again, it goes back out. By the way, you can drag this around and put it like right there if you want. Yeah, and then I got the manage plugins so I can enable plugins that I have. But yeah, that's basically it. Right here you can press play, you can press stop when you're playing. Right here, if you want to like test exactly at this position instead of at the spawn location, you can click test there. Run, it just runs without loading your character in. Team test, if you're like collaborating with other people, you can use that. Servers and clients, let's say you want 2 of yourself to play with, you just select a number, but it's very laggy, so don't select over 3, I'd recommend. But yeah, if you go back to test, you can test it like this. This button right here switches to server mode, so I can see myself, I can drag myself, I can scale myself. Yo, that's crazy. Okay. But yeah. Yo. Oh my gosh. Okay. I think that kind of messed it up. But yeah. Anywho, I'll see you guys in the next video, which is going to be the first scripting tutorial. And yeah, that's it. Peace out, guys.